You may call your first witness.
Thank you, Judge. People call Natalia Muntean.
Morning.
Could you please state your name and introduce yourself to the jury?
Natalia Muntean.
Natalia, how old are you?
32.
What's your marital status?
Currently married.
Who are you married to?
Radu Muntean.
I want you to take a second and look. Do you see Mr. Muntean in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you please point to him and tell us something he's wearing?
He's wearing a blue tie.
Thank you, Judge. Let the record reflect that the witness is inside the defendant.
No objection, Judge.
How long? Oh, sorry.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. I'm sorry. How long have you been married?
Since 2004.
And do you have any children?
Yes, we do.
How old?
She's going to be 3 in 2 months.
And what's her name?
Nadia.
I want to take you back to March of this year, 2016. Where were you living at the time?
My rented house in Hazel Park on 159.
You don't have to give us the address. In Hazel Park?
Yes.
Okay. And where was the defendant living?
At his own house, a block away.
So you were living separately at the time?
Correct.
Why were you living separately?
We had split up about a year and a half ago. It's 2 years now.
Okay. And during that time, had you been seeing other people?
Yes.
What was the state of your marriage like in March 2016?
We were trying to work on our marriage and get back together for our daughter's sake, and we were spending a lot of time together and with our daughter.
With your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And who was your daughter living with during this time?
She was with me for the most part, and towards the end, beginning of March, Radu insisted that she live with him.
Okay. Were you arguing a lot during this time?
Yes.
Why was he insisting that Nadia lived with him?
He said he didn't trust me with her because of some prior decisions that I made regarding some people I saw and who was exposed, Nadia was exposed to.
When you say people you saw, you mean people you dated?
Correct.
I want to talk a little bit, too, in March 2016. Were you getting
a program
for treatment of the depression?
Yes.
And was the defendant going to go with you?
That was my understanding, yes.
Okay. And were you going to take Nadia with you?
No.
Where was Nadia going to go?
She was going to stay with her daycare provider, Ms. Lubab.
Okay. In the days leading up to Chicago, were you making certain preparations?
Yes.
And were those preparations at the request of the defendant?
Yes.
What were some of the errands that you were doing?
We filed for passport for Nadia.
Why did you do that?
He wanted to make sure she has the proper paperwork in case he needed to send her back to Romania to live with his parents in case he couldn't take care of her.
Okay. And this was all happening right in the week before March 21st?
Yes.
Okay. What else were you doing? Did you have particularly, let me direct your attention, at some point did the defendant ask you about some custody papers?
Yes.
What was that about? Tell us about that.
Sometime in February, he has forced me to sign over custody of my daughter to him on a regular, just piece of paper, and was signed by a witness, one of his friends at his house. So we had that notarized at our bank that week.
And when you say he forced you to do this, you're still married at that time?
Yes.
And so you were both sharing custody of Nadia?
Yes.
Okay. But he wanted to make sure that he had
Full custody.
Okay. In case something happened to you?
In general, I believe, yes.
When you were going to Chicago, what day were you supposed to go?
March 21st, which was the Monday.
Okay. Did you make it there?
No.
All right. Let's talk about Monday the 21st. Where did you go on that day?
I went, first thing in the morning, I went to the Hamtramck police station to file a police report against my dad for...
You don't have to tell us what it was about, but
okay.
You went there. And why did you go there?
Radu insisted that I file some paperwork that would give him some legal leverage against my parents.
Okay. What happened next?
Then I went to the courthouse in Oakland County to file for a PPO for my daughter against my parents.
Okay.
That was not approved.
Okay.
And then I made it back to Radu's house.
Okay. And where was Nadia during this time?
She was already with Miss Lubab at daycare.
When did you drop her off?
Sunday afternoon.
Was the defendant with you when you dropped her off?
Yes, he was.
Did you go to Radu's house on the 21st?
Yes, I did.
Was anybody else there?
His friend Alex.
Is Alex a man or a woman?
A woman.
And when you were there, did you end up taking some drugs?
Yes, I did.
What did you take?
Molly.
And do you know what Molly is?
It's an ecstasy derivative.
Why did you take it?
I didn't want to take it at first, but Radu insisted that I do. So I just wanted to prevent an argument.
Okay. What happened after you took the Molly?
We were just hanging out at his house for a while, and then I noticed my legs started to swell up, and I showed it to Radu, and he said I should go to the hospital.
Did you ask him to take you there?
I believe I did, and he told me that I should go by myself.
Did you?
I eventually went home first to start packing for my trip to Chicago. That was moved to the 22nd.
And I think we skipped over that. So you were supposed to go on the 21st, but then you didn't.
Correct.
Because you had moved it back?
Yes, I rescheduled for the 22nd.
Okay, so the next day?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened after you went to your house?
I started getting my luggage together, and I was going down the steps to the basement, and I started noticing that I couldn't really bend my knee very well, so I decided to go to urgent care that's close by, but when I got there, they were closed.
Okay.
Could I get some water, please?
Oh, yes.
And so then I decided to go to Beaumont Hospital on 13 Mile.
And you were driving?
And I was driving on the highway.
What happened once you started driving on the highway?
I started feeling numbness on my left side, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And at that point, I decided to pull over and call 911.
Okay. And did the police arrive?
Yes, they did.
Did they take you to the hospital?
Yes, they did.
And then did they take you to the Michigan State Police Post afterwards?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Were you released that night or early into the 22nd?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you get home?
I called Radu to come pick me up.
Did he eventually come get you?
Yes, he did.
Was he happy about that?
No, he wasn't.
Tell us about that.
When I originally called him, he said he was going to come pick me up, but I've been waiting and he wasn't showing up, so I called him. And I said, well, if he's not coming, then I can take an Uber and get home. And then he got upset that if I called him to come pick me up, then why would I call an Uber? So then he said he's coming, but he wasn't showing up for a while.
What time did he get there?
I believe it was around 1:30 or 2 a.m.
On the 22nd?
22nd, yes.
How was he acting when he got there?
He was kind of aggravated. He was demanding to speak with the police officers about some paperwork. He didn't believe they gave me the correct paperwork, discharge paperwork.
Did he have a weapon on him at that
I believe he did.
Did he pick you up in his own car?
No, he did not.
Did somebody come with him?
Yes, his friend Alex.
The same person that was at the house?
Yes.
Do you know where his car was?
It was in the shop.
What happens after you leave the police station?
We went back to Hazel Park. We parked at the gas station on the corner, not too far from where we lived, and we walked home. He was paranoid that the police was following us.
Okay. And what happened next?
He dropped me off at my house, walked me to the front door, opened the screen door, and picked up a baggie full of drugs.
Okay. What happened after that?
He left. He went to his own house.
Okay. And how close does he live to you?
About a block away.
So it's easily walking distance?
Yes.
Okay. Later on that day, so we're still on the 22nd, did you go to get your car from impound?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What happened after you got your car from the impound?
I was at home. I called one of my friends from work and invited him over to come talk to me. I had some concerns regarding...
Is it a coworker?
Yeah, coworker.
Did he come over?
Yes, he did.
Eventually, did you call the place in Chicago?
Yeah, I called first thing in the morning to tell him I'm not coming.
Okay. Did you also talk to the defendant that day?
Yes, I did.
How many times?
I don't remember. I know we spoke over email and over the phone several times and through text.
Okay. What was his demeanor like when you were speaking with him that day?
He was very accusatory and, I don't know, I guess aggressive or demanding, controlling.
Okay. Did you eventually talk about going to see Nadia?
Yes, I begged them to let me go see Nadia.
Okay. And did he agree?
Eventually he did.
Okay. And did you have a plan then that the two of you would go see Nadia?
Yes.
And you'd go see her at the babysitter?
Yes.
Did he schedule a time to come get you?
Yes, we spoke around, I believe it was 6 o'clock in the afternoon. He was going to come get me and we were going to go see Nadia at that time.
And did he come to your house about 6 o'clock?
Yes, he did. It was about 6:20 maybe.
Okay. When he got there, what kind of car was he in?
He was in his own truck, the blue Silverado.
Do you know what year? What?
2007.
Did he come into your house at all?
No.
Did you go out?
Yes, I left the house and got into his truck.
What happened once you got into the truck?
We started talking. He started questioning me about my coworker that stopped by earlier. He was making comments to the effect that we were having a sexual relationship, which was not true.
Where did you go?
I believe at that time we went back to our old house where we lived together.
What happened once you got there?
We were in the driveway. I believe he might have gotten out of the car for a little bit to check the mail, and then he got back in. I was still in the car, and we were talking, and he started talking about how suicide is really the only way out of this, and we should kill each other. And he took out a Ziploc full of pills, which he told me were Vicodins.
At that moment in time, were you suicidal?
No.
Did you want to die that day?
No.
Before you got into the truck that day, did you want to commit suicide?
No.
Had you thought about it at all that day?
No.
What was your reaction when he started talking to you about this?
I was scared. I begged him not to do anything stupid, and then he took the pills from the bag and put them in his hand and swallowed a bunch of them.
Did he give you some pills?
Yes.
What did you do with them?
I just held on to them in my hand.
Why didn't you take them?
I didn't want to kill myself. That was not something I wanted to do.
So as far as you knew, you were going to go see your daughter?
Yes.
Did you ever agree to this plan to kill yourself?
I don't believe so.
After the defendant took the pills, what happened?
I said I was going to get out of the car because I'm not going to drive with him when he's under such influence of pills. I didn't know how they were going to affect him, so I tried to get out of the car. But I was strapped in with the seat belt, and I couldn't even open the door, and he said, "You're not going anywhere," and sped off the driveway.
After he said, "You're not going anywhere," and sped out of the driveway, where did he start to go?
Towards 75 entrance, in that direction, but I believe we were just continuing to drive on John R. Road southbound towards 8 Mile.
Okay. How were you feeling at this point?
I was confused.
Okay. Did you continue arguing?
I believe we did, yes.
Do you remember what you were arguing about?
Not exactly, but it was probably about the guy I was seeing at one point.
Did you have cell phones on you?
Yes, I did. I had two, one personal, one work phone.
Did you try to get one of your phones out at any point?
I believe I did, and he grabbed it from me and threw my work phone out the window.
So you were left with one phone?
Yes.
What kind of a phone was it that you were left with?
It was My Touch, I believe.
Do you know what color it was?
White.
After he threw your phone out of the window, what happened next?
I don't remember when he first hit me, but I believe he was shoving and hitting me at that time.
While he was driving?
I believe so.
Did you come to a stop sign at some point?
Yes, at some point we were turned around where we were going northbound on John R., and we were making a right-hand turn to go onto the southbound entrance to 75, and we were stopped at the stop sign there.
What happened?
He was punching me.
Where was he punching you?
In my face, on my left side of my face.
Do you know what hand he was punching you with?
I believe it was his right hand, because he was sitting in the driver's seat, so it would have been closest to him and to me.
What happened after he punched you in the face?
He, once the traffic cleared, he got on 75,
Okay.
and we were driving.
75 going southbound?
Southbound, yes.
Okay.
And we were still arguing.
When he was driving, did it look like he knew where he was going?
Sort of.
Okay.
I mean, he was getting on the highway.
Okay. What happened after you got on the highway?
We started to argue even more, and at one point he pulled out a gun.
Okay. To your knowledge, does he regularly carry
Yes.
firearms? Does he have a license to do so?
Yes.
I should ask, is he a police officer or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
After he pulls out the gun, where does he usually keep this gun?
In the front of his pants, like inside, tucked in.
Okay. So, after he pulls out the gun, can you describe what it looks like?
It was a handgun, a black semi-automatic.
Okay. What does he do with it once he has it out?
He was kind of just like wiggling it around for a little bit.
Was he saying anything?
He was. I don't remember what he was saying. I just remember thinking, like, this is so dangerous. He could just accidentally shoot it, or it could fire. And then he pointed it at my legs, and I pushed it away. And then he came back, pointed it at my legs again, and shot.
And where did the bullet hit you?
Yes.
Where did it hit you?
It hit me in my calves. I can show. There's an entrance.
Okay.
One.
Where did the bullet go?
It traveled through the leg, entered the right one on this side, and got stuck over here on this side.
And for the record, you pointed to the outside of your left leg, and then you pointed to the inside of your left leg. And then as you said that it traveled, you pointed to the inside of your right leg, and then indicated that it stopped on the outside of your right leg.
Correct.
What did you think when he shot you?
I was in shock. I remember just my ears popped, and I couldn't really hear very well. I was screaming. I couldn't really hear myself scream.
Were you in pain?
I don't remember even. I was in shock. I remember the burning sensation in my calves, and I remember the smell of the fired gun. and I was just screaming, and he kept driving.
Were you bleeding?
I believe I was.
Did he drive to a hospital?
No. He took a exit, I believe it was 7 Mile or McNichols, one of those, and we just continued driving.
Where did you eventually stop?
Stopped in an empty field somewhere in Detroit.
At any point after he shot you, did he call the police?
No, he did not.
Did he take you to a police station?
No, he did not.
Didn't take you to an emergency room?
No, he did not.
You said he drove you to a field in Detroit?
Yes.
Have you been to this place before?
No, I have not.
Judge, may I approach?
Yes, you may.
Ms. Muntean, I'm going to show you what's been pre-marked as people's proposed exhibits numbers 1, 2, and 3. Can you take a look at these?
Yes.
Tell me if you recognize those.
Yes, that's the area of the field, the map of the field.
Those are all of them the maps of the field?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time I'd move to admit people's proposed exhibits 1, 2, and 3.
Any objection?
No objection.
Shall be received.
Thank you. May I publish?
Yes, you may.
You indicated, ma'am, that this is a map, people's exhibit 1 is a map of the field.
Correct.
Same thing, people's exhibit 2, just a little more zoomed in.
Yes.
And exhibit 3, this is a bird's eye view of the field where you live.
Yes.
When you got to the field, are there any houses or anything like that around?
There was a house I noticed in the distance. It was kind of half burned down.
What else did you see in the field?
It was just an empty field with trees, dead trees, a lot of shrub. It was still winter, so there was no leaves anywhere. It was a lot of garbage around, just very desolate area.
Were there any other people around?
Not that I noticed, no.
When you got to the field, what time of day was it?
It was evening, but it was still light out.
Do you recall a specific time?
No.
Once you got to the field, what happened?
For a while, we sat in the truck and things got quiet. He was on the phone, making a lot of phone calls. I believe he was talking to his friend Alex, talking about money.
Okay. Do you recall specifically what he was talking about?
He was talking about somebody owing him money. I think it was about $6,500, and he was telling her she was going to have to go collect that money.
Okay. Did he talk to you at all about the field, about where you were?
He did. At one point we talked about how this place, nobody goes around to that place, and nobody would find us there for at least a month.
May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Take a look at that. Tell me if you recognize that.
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It's the field with the truck parked in the middle of it.
And does that fairly and accurately depict the truck in the field as it was on March 22nd, 2016?
Yes, it does.
Judge, at this time I'd move to admit people's proposed exhibit number 4 into evidence of people's exhibit number 4.
No objection.
Shall be received.
Thank you. Was he talking any more about the supposed plan to kill each other?
I don't recall too many details. I just remember him saying that if we die here, nobody will find us for a month or so.
Okay. After he's on the phone with Alex, what happened next?
He had some money on him, so he started putting together some money. I believe he was texting her the location where we were at, and she was going to come pick up that money.
Whose phone was he using?
He was using his phone, but he was running out of battery, so then I believe either he was using my phone or I sent her some texts as well.
I know you're a little bit hesitant. Is it fair to say that your memory of that day is not 100% clear?
That's correct.
After he's using the phone, and you said at one point you were using your phone to talk to Alex?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever try to call for help?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I just didn't want to make him even more mad and angry with me. I didn't want him to hit me again.
Did you ever try to get out of the car?
I tried to get it, not to run away, but just to, believe it was to get something from the back. I tried to get out of the truck, but I couldn't stand up on my legs.
Why couldn't you stand up on your legs?
Because I was shot in my legs.
At that point, were you bleeding?
I was.
Where were you bleeding from?
I was bleeding from my gunshot wounds on my legs, and also from the cuts on my face.
Do you know how you got the cuts on your face?
From him punching me.
What happened next?
I believe we were just sitting in the car, and somebody came to the field. It was dark. I saw a car pull up.
Were you in the car?
I was still in the car, yes.
Were you being... could you have gotten out of the car at that point if you wanted to?
I don't think so. I was handcuffed to the seat belt with my right hand.
Who handcuffed you?
Radu.
Why did he handcuff you?
I'm not sure. He was trying to make sure I don't run away, I guess.
And he had handcuffs on him?
Yes, he did.
Do you know where he got them from?
Not exactly. I believe he bought them.
At that point in time, did you want to be handcuffed?
No, I did not.
Did you want to be in that field?
No, I did not.
Were you feeling afraid?
Yes.
What were you afraid of?
Dying and him shooting me and just not seeing my daughter.
Did he have your permission to keep you in that field?
No.
What happens after someone you think comes to the field?
He went up to talk to them. They talked for a little bit, and then the person left. I did not see who it was. I believe it was Alex. Then he was moving around a lot when he was on his phone. And at one point, I think it was before Alex got there, or whoever it was that came to the field, he started to get affected by the drugs. He started to stumble a little bit and kind of lost his balance at one point, and I got scared that he was going to pass out or die, and I'm handcuffed to the truck and I can't get out. I can't do anything.
What did he say?
So he said, "Don't worry, you're not going to go before me." And at that point, I was just thinking everything in my head, like, what does that mean? I thought he was going to have to shoot me because there was no other way. He was going to kill me, no other weapons, I guess. And I was just thinking, is he going to shoot me in my chest? Is he going to shoot me in my head? How is that going to feel? How much pain it's going to be?
What did you do?
Nothing.
You're good.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't do anything. I was just thinking in my head.
At some point in time, did you take the pills that he had given you earlier?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember when you took those?
Not exactly. It was soon after we got to the field, I believe.
Why did you take the pills?
I was just I wanted to ease my pain.
Did you know what the pills were?
He told me they were Vicodins.
The pain from the gunshot?
That and just the emotional pain.
What happened? I want to go back to the field. What happened next?
For a while, we were just sitting in the car. Things were calm. We didn't argue. But then, at one point, he took off the handcuffs, and
did he take you somewhere?
I don't believe so.
Okay. What did you do?
We were just sitting in the car, and then he came over to my side with a knife, like sliced my pants open to see my wounds. And
I'm going to stop you. You said that he came over to your side with a knife.
Yes.
Did you know that he had a knife on him?
I don't know. He had it in his truck, I believe. When I saw it when he took it out.
Can you describe the knife for us?
I believe it was like a pocket knife with 3-inch blade, black.
Okay. So he came over to your side with a knife, and what did he do?
He said he was going to look at my wounds, so he sliced open my pants from the back to uncover my my wounds, and there was some antiseptic in the side of on the door side in the truck, so he told me to spray some.
Do you remember what you were wearing that day?
I was wearing black yoga pants, not sure what shirt, and then I had a blue fleece type jacket.
Did you have undergarments on?
Yes.
What color were your undergarments?
I had a tan bra and like white panties with the magenta color banding and some designs on them.
After he came over and split your pants open, you said there was some antiseptic spray in the car?
That's correct.
What happened with that?
I sprayed it on my wounds.
Why did you do that?
He told me it was going to ease the pain a little bit, numb it up, and disinfect it.
Okay. He told you that to spray it on your wounds?
Yes.
Okay. What did he do after you sprayed it on your wounds?
I don't remember exactly. I remember him being back in the truck on his side, on the driver's side.
Did he still have the knife?
I think so. I remember having the knife with me for a little bit, like in my lap.
You had the knife for a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do anything with the knife?
No, I didn't.
At some point in time, did he use the knife to cut your leg?
Yes.
Do you know when that was?
Not exactly, not in the timeline, but I remember he was sitting in the driver's seat, and we started arguing again, and he charged at me with the knife, and I slid back. The door was open, so I kind of fell out of the car. I cut myself on the frame of the doors.
When you say he charged at you with the knife, what part of his body was doing that?
His upper body came charging at me.
And what happened with the knife?
When I fell out of the car and I was on my back, I was trying to move away from the truck, trying to get up and maybe get back in, and he came over to my side and started stabbing me. And I remember,
Stabbing you?
I believe the first stab was in my hand because I instinctively pulled it out to stop the blow, and he got me.
And for the record, you're showing us your
Left hand.
the palm of your left hand?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other stab wounds were in my legs, around the gunshot wound, and one was higher up above my knee.
After he stabbed you, are you still on the ground?
I believe I was.
What happens when you're on the ground?
He was, I remember him beating me over the head with the gun. Like he was holding the gun in his right hand and just beating me over the head with the bottom of it.
Where on your head was the gun touching?
The skull, like the front area, and this side mostly.
Okay, for the record, you're pointing to the left side of your head and the top.
Correct. And then the next thing I remember was him sitting on my chest with his knees pinning my shoulders, so I could really only move my hands from my elbow, and he was sitting on my chest.
What was he doing while he was sitting there?
He was choking me.
When you say choking you, what do you mean? What part of his body was touching what part of your body?
His hands were on my neck.
Both of his hands?
Yes.
Where were his thumbs?
I believe they were on my neck,
Okay.
pressing.
Was he applying pressure?
Yes.
What did your body feel like when he was doing that?
I was running out of air. I was choking. I was trying to get his attention by moving my arms and hitting him to get off of me and let me go because I couldn't breathe.
When he was beating you over the head with the gun, do you remember what hand he was holding the gun in?
In his right hand.
Were you in pain at this point?
Yes.
Where in your body?
Just everywhere. I couldn't really pinpoint the pain. Like I felt like I was laying on roots of the trees, and everything was poking and stabbing me, and I was worried that my wounds were getting dirty and infected. And at one point, he turned my head, and I felt my whole jaw kind of shift over unnaturally, and I thought, well, that can't be good.
Did it hurt?
It didn't really hurt. I don't know, I didn't feel the pain, maybe from the shock, but I just felt it move.
Was he saying anything to you while he was beating you?
At that time, I remember him asking me how many, if I don't have to censor myself.
You don't have to censor yourself. Say whatever it was that he said.
He said something like, how many dicks have I seen while we were married, or something to that effect. And I was telling him I didn't cheat on him when we were married, and he didn't believe me. He kept saying I'm lying. So then I told him 2, just to make him happy, make him hear what he wanted to hear. And then when he asked me further who it was, I told him I didn't know, because I just made up a lie. I couldn't think of anybody to tell him, and he just got angrier and started choking me even more.
So at that point, you were trying to do whatever you could to stop.
Yes.
At some point, did he have the knife on your chest at all?
Yes, he did. I remember him. Somehow I had my shirt open and my breasts were exposed, and he took the knife and ran it from my chest down to my nipple, and making a scar, and I started bleeding.
You don't remember, though, exposing your chest at all?
No.
Did you voluntarily take off your clothes at all that night?
I believe the only thing I took off voluntarily was my jacket.
Judge, may I approach again? Ms. Muntean, I'm going to show you what's been pre-marked as People's Proposed Exhibit number 100.
Okay.
Do you recognize this piece
Yes.
of item 100? What is that?
Those are my yoga pants.
Do you recognize this piece of item 100?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Might be a shirt I own, but I don't remember.
Okay. Do you recognize this piece of Exhibit 100?
Yes, that's my bra.
These were the clothing, except for the one that you are not sure about, the pants and the bra, these are the clothing that you were wearing that night?
Yes.
And do they look the same as when you were wearing them that evening?
No, they look blood-stained.
Okay. At any point during March 22nd to March 23rd, did they become blood-stained?
Yes, they did.
They were not blood-stained when you put them on?
No.
I need to ask, and I apologize in advance, but were you on your menstrual cycle during this time?
Yes, I was.
Did you have a feminine hygiene product?
Yes.
When you put the underwear that you were telling us about on earlier, when you put it on that day, was it bloody?
No, it was clean.
I want to go back to when he's sitting on top of you. At some point in time, did he get distracted?
Yes.
What happened when he got distracted?
I remember him pulling me up I believe I still had the shirt on, so he kind of just lifted the pressure off of my chest a little bit, and he grabbed my clothes and lifted me with him. He was trying to look over the top of the car to see what was happening, and that's when I passed out.
And do you remember anything else after that?
I remember waking up the next day. It was light outside. I was still in the car, and I saw commotion up front of the truck, and I saw him sitting on the curb with his hands handcuffed behind his back, and somebody else sitting next to him.
Okay. And what happened? Do you remember anything else after that?
No, I blacked out again.
And what's the next thing that you remember?
The next thing I remember is waking up at the hospital with I believe it was Detective Jovkowski sitting next to my bed and started asking questions about the incident.
Okay. I'm going to stop you for a second. May I approach you, Judge?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been pre-marked as People's Proposed Exhibits 5 through 9. Can you take a look at these?
Sure.
Tell me if you recognize them.
Yes, that's for this truck.
And do those pictures fairly and accurately depict the truck as it was when you were in the field March 22nd and March 23rd of this year?
Yes.
Judge, at this point I'd move to admit People's Exhibits 5 through 9.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Shall be received.
Thank you, Judge. And tell us what we see in Exhibit 5.
That's the driver's side of the truck.
And Exhibit 6.
Again, a close-up of the driver's side with 2 phones on the seat and some cigarettes.
Okay. Which one is your phone?
The white one,
And what's the black phone?
that's his phone. It's the driver's side, or passenger side, where I was sitting.
That's Exhibit 7. This is where you were sitting?
Yes.
Exhibit 8.
It's
same
a
thing?
close-up, yes.
And all of those red markings there, were those in the truck before you got into the truck on March 22nd?
No, they were not.
And is that also a picture of the passenger side?
Yes.
You said that after you woke up in the hospital, you remember Detective Jovkowski being there. What type of injuries did you have?
I had the gunshot wounds to both my legs. I had lacerations to my legs and my head and my face, broken jaw, swollen eye.
Okay, Judge, approach again.
Yes, you may.
I'm going to ask you to look at what's been pre-marked People's Proposed Exhibits 10 through 12. Can you take a look at those?
Yes.
Do you recognize those?
Yes, it's pictures of me in the
those
hospital.
Those photos
Yes.
fairly accurately depict how you looked on March 23rd, 2016?
I wouldn't know for sure. I did not look at myself in the mirror until a few days after.
Okay.
But from the way I felt,
They were
so-
taken on March 23rd. Do you remember
I
somebody
believe-
coming and taking pictures of you?
Yes,
And these are those photos.
I believe so. Yes.
At this time, Judge, I move to admit People's Exhibits 10 through 12.
Judge, respectfully, the defense is stipulated to all these photographs being admitted.
Very well. Shall be received.
Thank you, Judge. People's Exhibit 10. That's how you looked on March 23rd?
I believe so. Yes.
Did you have any of those injuries prior to March 22nd?
No, I did not.
Exhibit 11. This is just a closer-up photo of you. What's in Exhibit 12?
It's a picture of my hands.
And in the upper right-hand corner of the photo, is that the stab wound to the palm
Yes.
that you were describing to us before?
Yes, it looks stitched up already.
Did you have to have stitches there?
Yes,
Did you have to have
true.
stitches anywhere else?
Yes, I had stitches or staples in my head, and stitches in my hand, and the gunshot wounds were left open.
Okay. What about for your jaw? Did you have to have anything happen to your jaw?
They were talking about surgery for wiring it shut, but in the end it was decided against it.
Did you have any type of like restricted diet or anything like
Yes, I had to be on the liquid diet for a while, and then soft chew for a long time.
Showing you People's Proposed Exhibit 13. Are those the handcuffs?
I believe so, yes.
Judge, I'd move to admit People's Exhibit 13.
So stipulated, Judge.
Very well. Shall be received.
Thank you, Judge. These are the handcuffs?
Yes.
How long were you in the hospital?
About a week.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibits 14 through 18. Look at those. Do those photos fairly and accurately depict you in the hospital in the days after the assault?
Yes.
Judge, I'd move to admit People's Exhibits 14 through 18.
So stipulated, Judge.
Shall be received.
This is you, Exhibit 14, this is you in the hospital.
Yes.
And you had mentioned that they didn't do anything surgical for the gunshot. So did the bullet stay in your right leg?
Yes.
And is it still there now?
No, I had it removed
Okay. When did you have it removed?
on April 22nd.
People's Exhibit 15. What is that?
That's the entrance wound from the gunshot on my left leg.
Okay. And do you still have a scar from that?
Yes, I do.
Judge, can I have permission for the witness to show the jury the scar?
She may.
Do you want me to
Step
stand
down
up?
and come right out in front here. That's the scar. Okay. And then let's look at People's Exhibit 16. What's in that photo?
That's the exit wound from the left leg, which is right
For
here.
the record, you're pointing to the scar on the inside of your leg.
Those are the stab wounds.
Okay. The smaller wounds around the larger one are the stab wounds.
Yes. And this is the stab wound above my knee.
Okay. And for the record, you're indicating about 1.5 inches above your left knee. Okay. Let's look at Exhibit 17. What is that?
That's where the bullet was, on the outside of my right leg.
Okay.
Right now I have a surgical scar.
Okay. And you're pointing against the outside of your right leg. And then People's Exhibit 18. What's that?
And that's the entrance wound on the right leg, which is right here.
Okay. You can speak. Thank you. You said you were in the hospital for about a week.
Correct.
Do you remember talking to the doctors at the hospital?
Yes.
Do you remember telling them about what happened?
A little bit, yes.
Do you remember talking to the police at the hospital about what happened?
Yes.
Do you remember talking to them on March 23rd, the same day that you were found?
Yes.
Do you remember what you told them?
Yeah, I remember.
What did you tell them?
That we were arguing. I remember telling them what we were arguing about. I remember saying that, talking about the gun. I remember saying that I did not hear him say he's going to kill me exactly in those words. And I remember saying I didn't want to press charges.
Do you remember telling them that it was all a misunderstanding?
Yes.
Why did you tell them that you didn't want to press charges and that it was all a misunderstanding?
I was trying to protect him. I was blaming myself. I thought a lot of it was my fault, and I didn't want to make him even more angry at me. I just wanted to show him that I was willing to work on our marriage and, I don't know, get back together, I guess, still at that point.
Do you remember telling the doctors that it was a suicide pact?
Not exactly. I remember talking about what happened in the field.
If you had said that to the doctors, why would you have said that?
To protect him, and still, I was still blaming myself maybe, and I was trying to protect him.
Was this a suicide pact?
No.
Did you want to kill yourself when you got in that truck that day?
No, I didn't.
Did you tell them that you remembered scattering your clothes around the field?
I don't remember.
At some point in time, did you change your mind about what happened, about wanting to press charges?
Yes, I thought about it, and I was talking to a lot of counselors, and I realized that really he had no right to do what he did, and it really wasn't my fault.
Did you have to get some counseling after this happened?
Yes, I'm still in counseling.
So you're being treated for the things that happened, the emotional things?
Yes.
That result. And after you thought about it, what made you decide to tell the truth about what happened?
I don't ever want my daughter to think that it's okay for something like this to happen to her, that it's not acceptable.
I want to go for a second back to earlier in the month of March. Was there another time in March that the defendant assaulted you?
Yes.
Do you need a second? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Specifically, I want to take your attention to March 10th. What happened on that day?
I believe it was March 11th in the morning. He came over. He was at my house early in the morning, and he was assaulting. He assaulted me. He
Did he hit you?
Yes.
Where did he hit you?
He was hitting me over the top of my head. He was careful not to hit my face, my shoulders, and my legs. He was kicking me. He was choking me.
And did you have a therapy session?
Yes, I did.
On March 11th?
Yes.
And did he go with you that day?
Yes, he did.
What happened once you got there?
The therapist right away noticed I had a black eye.
Okay. You just said, though, that he was careful not to hit your face. Did he actually hit your face, or did you have it from before? How did you get the black eye?
I believe he used his tie at some point to hit me with, and I believe the corner of the tie hit my eye.
Okay.
And made a bruise.
Okay. What happened once you got to the therapist?
She asked me what happened.
What did you tell her?
I told her I fell down the stairs with a basket of laundry.
Is that what happened?
No.
What happened after you told her that?
Radu excused himself to go to the restroom and give us time to talk.
Okay.
And when he left, she insisted. She kept asking again, like, what happened? She kept insisting. So I told her the truth, that he hit me.
After you told her that he hit you, did he come back into the room?
Yes, he did.
Did the therapist talk with him about what happened?
Yes, she did.
What was his reaction to the therapist asking him about this?
He was getting defensive and argumentative, and at one point she asked him to leave the room.
What happened next?
When he left the room, she excused herself also, and went somewhere, and it seemed like she was gone for a long time. I was left in the room, so I stepped outside to see where she was, but I couldn't see anybody right away in the hallway, so eventually I ran into somebody that worked in the office, and they said she was talking with the doctor that runs the clinic, or the center, and a few seconds later she was coming up the hallway with him, with the doctor.
Did he have a confrontation with the therapist at all? Do you remember?
They were talking, yes.
Do you remember what he was saying?
No.
Did you report that incident to the police?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I didn't want to get him in trouble and make matters worse for me.
I want to go back to when you're in the field. At any point in time, did you ever hear the defendant call 911?
No, I did not.
Any of the times that he had the phone?
No.
Did he ever try to call anybody to come help?
No, not for help.
And you said that you never tried to call 911?
No.
How was it that he was able to keep you in the field?
I don't know. I just wanted to do whatever he wanted me to do and keep him happy.
Did you think that he was going to kill you?
At one point, yes.
What point was that?
When he said that, "Don't worry, I'm not going to go before you."
Did you think you were going to die in that field?
Yes.
After this happened, were you in a lot of pain?
Yes.
Did you have to get treated for the pain at the hospital?
Yes.
You talked a little bit about being in therapy now for what happened. Did you suffer mentally as a result of everything happening?
Yes, I believe so.
How so?
Just a lot of self-esteem issues, blame, depression.
Can I have one moment, Judge?
You may.
Nothing else, Judge.
All right. We're going to take a recess at this point. Members of the jury, please step into the jury room. All rise. You may be seated. You may step in.
It's a pre-trial, actually. I don't even look at trial conference yet. Mr. Rather wasn't, he didn't realize there was a pre-trial. He talked to the court about setting it over. It wasn't until it popped up and I saw it last week, and I contacted him over the weekend. He asked me to set it over. He's available by his trial.
What's the charge?
It's a felony, first degree murder case.
No. Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you.
It's all right.
You did.
Did the trial date accept?
I believe so. I believe everything's been set.